What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cage My IQ. As always, I am your host, D-Bake. Today, I will be recapping Bellator 268, which was headlined by Vadim Nemkov versus Julius Anglickas in one of the semifinal matchups of the light heavyweight Grand Prix. And that light heavyweight championship was also on the line in this 5-round fight. Before we get into the action on this Saturday's card, as always, just to let you guys know, we are Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the handles to the left. And as always, we are now partnered with the Fighters First YouTube channel. So if you could go to the Fighters First YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you can. That would help us out a lot. And please hit the notification bell so whenever we put any of our content out, that you get it first. So once again, please hit the notification button, subscribe to the channel, and please hit the like button. And of course, if you're watching the show, we do have merch out now. So go to the fightersfirst.shop. Check out all the different collections we have on there. We got the Brandon Coutinho Tune-Up Crew. We got the Art of MMA collection. We even have the Legendary collection, which we just released, the British Bulldog, the Loose Cannon Brian Pillman shirts. We have a Muhammad Ali shirt, and then we even have a Gracie shirt out now. And we're always coming out with new ideas for the Legendary collection. So check that out. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our collection, the Cage My IQ collection. So all you got to do is go to fightersfirst.shop, scroll down to the Cage My IQ collection, click it, and check out the shirt that we have in 3 different styles, and then the hoodie that we have out since it's now fall. So with it getting cold, you want to put a hoodie on. Why not rock a Cage My IQ shirt, hoodie, and support the brand? And of course, we're always thinking of new ideas in the future. So we're going to come out with more merch. And when we do, we'll let you know. But if you buy one of our shirts, give us a shout out on social media, on Twitter or on Instagram. Let us know that we got it. And then we'll give you a shout out on next week's show. But let's get into the action that we have on here for the Bellator 268. The first fight that we had on the main card was a featherweight matchup that saw Crouse defeat Vlasslov Parubchenko by unanimous decision 30-27, 30-27, and 30-27. This fight was pretty fun to watch. I think the fight was kind of decided very early because of a routine that Crouse got into. Very early on, Parubchenko, who has missed a lot of time in the past few years, he took down Crouse early when Crouse was trying to throw shots at him. That was the success that he had in this fight. He was able to take him down with ease early on. But then Crouse was able to fight back to the top and get to his feet after putting his back to the cage to get up. And then once that happened, Crouse decided to control the center of the octagon, and then he was throwing a lot of lower calf kicks that were just piecing up Parubchenko, and then just over time they're just eating him up, and then you could tell the damage that I was doing because it was slowing down Parubchenko. But within that, he was Crouse was also throwing 2, 3, 4 punch combinations with power that were just 1 or 2 might have gotten to him, but when he got to him, they were doing damage to him. He did try 1 or 2 submission attempts, but he was just racking up the small volume. And in round 1, I gave it. He had knocked down Parubchenko. That's what gave round 1 to him. At round 2, he did the same thing. There was a lot of the calf kicks, a lot of the clinching up, but he was with the slowing down of Parubchenko. He was able to stuff the takedown attempts, and then he even got a nice shot in round 2 as well. And a lot of people said round 1 probably would have went to Parubchenko. You could have went either way there, but round 2 is easily Henry Crouse with the combinations, the constant controlling of the center of the octagon, and then the constant lower calf kicks being thrown to just keep Parubchenko from shooting in. And then he also had a nice shot as well towards the end of the round 2. And then in round 3, it was Henry Crouse. He just slowed down Parubchenko with the low calf kicks to the point where he didn't have that burst when he was running in to get the takedowns. He would start going, get kicked, and then he would back up, and then he would get Crouse rushing in and throwing those combinations that were just. He landed some good combinations halfway through, and he was just pressuring Parubchenko. And at the end of the day, the judges saw the same thing. They gave the constant barrage to Henry Crouse. Whereas with the decision, they gave it 30-27 across the board. I thought maybe it would have been 29-28 because of round 1. But at the end of the day, the judges thought that all 3 rounds went to Henry Crouse because of the more damage that he was doing. It didn't really look like there was much damage that Crouse took other than the takedown in round 1 and then the shot that he took halfway through the fight, which got back right away. But at the end of the day, Henry Crouse in this first fight on the main card defeats Vlasslov Parubchenko by unanimous decision, 30-27, 30-27, 30-27. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. He has this nice winning streak going now, and maybe he looks to move up the ranks again. Use these new tools that he has to try and get back into title contention. But from here, he gets the win, and then he moves on to his next fight. But to move on from this to the second fight on the main card, we had a lightweight matchup between Brent Primus, who defeated Benson Henderson by unanimous decision, 29-28, 30-27, 30-27. This was a stylistic matchup that I thought was going to be good on paper and to me it was kind of one-sided except for one strike from Benson Henderson. You got Benson Henderson, who is the tall fighter, who usually likes to throw a lot of leg kicks and throws strikes. He uses his height to his advantage, whereas Brent Primus is a little bit smaller, but he's a grappler, wrestler, and he likes to get the fight to the ground and try and submit his opponents. And then also he has power shots that he likes to throw, so he likes to mix those up to confuse his opponents. But a lot of this fight was Brent Primus pressuring Benson Henderson, getting him against the cage, looking for entries for submissions. He must have had 4 or 5 submission attempts in this in this whole fight that he racked up control time with, and in each round he must have had like 2 or 3 minutes of attacking with the submission. Then he was throwing those hammer shots that had an effect on Benson Henderson. Not a lot were connecting, but when he did, he definitely put Benson Henderson on his butt. But he did a lot of this. I thought maybe round 2 could have went to Benson Henderson because round 1 was all Brent Primus taking down Benson Henderson, controlling him on the ground, throwing shots for about half to 30 minutes of the round. And then he was throwing shots on him. Round 2, you saw what Benson Henderson should have been doing from the beginning, which was throw those high leg kicks, keeping Brent Primus from getting inside the distance so he can shoot for takedowns, and then throwing shots at him when he was neglecting to go for the takedowns. And then towards the end, it was Brent Primus who jumped on his back and then basically was just trying to go for the choke, but didn't throw anything for the last minute and didn't really add up. So I thought Benson Henderson probably should have got the second round, but they were given the control time with the submission attempt to Primus. So I guess that's what they were thinking on 2 of the judges' scorecards was the attempt and the control time there. Then in round 3, it was Brent Primus again with the takedown. He was able to push him down, and then when he got back up, somehow he was able to clinch up and then switch to the back of Benson Henderson. He was throwing shots at him. And then for the last 2 minutes or so, he was going for a rear naked choke, a guillotine, and then a rear naked choke again. He was on the back of Benson Henderson towards the end. And one last chance Benson Henderson took was to throw him on the ground, and it didn't happen. And at the end of the day, Primus defeated Benson Henderson by unanimous decision 29-28, 30-27, 30-27. He's looking to get back into that top 5 where Benson Henderson was ranked number 3, so likely they'll change. He wants that last shot at the lightweight belt here, and I think he's going to get a chance to. All he needs to do is get one more win to get that, but at the end of the day, Brent Primus wins, and then he likely moves into the top 5 of the lightweight division. In the co-main event of the evening, here we had the first matchup in the light heavyweight Grand Prix in the semifinals. We had Corey Anderson defeat Ryan Bader by first round TKO punches. This fight lasted all but 50 seconds. For the first 20 seconds, these guys were just training strikes where they were missing. They were just going to feel for each other. Up until the 20-second mark where both these guys threw at each other. The difference was Corey Anderson moved his head off the center line and threw his right overhand shot, which created a nice distance and angle where he caught Ryan Bader behind the ear and put him down. Ryan then went for the end on the ground. Yeah, Ryan Bader tried to grab the body of Corey Anderson to keep him from shooting him, but he didn't have enough leverage, and Corey Anderson was able to push him on the ground, move him over, and throw haymakers at him to the point where Ryan Bader just covered up, and the ref called for the fight at 50 seconds in the round 1. So Corey Anderson moves on to the finals of the light heavyweight Grand Prix to face the winner of the main event. But it was a good showing from Corey Anderson since he signed here. He's been known as the guy that has all the potential, but was never able to get over that top 5 hump. And he's going to get that chance in the finals of the Grand Prix where he's going to likely get a title shot and a shot at $1 million. But ever since he's joined that Bellator, he has won, and he's looked like a better fighter, which is good for him. But in this co-main event, we had Corey Anderson defeat Ryan Bader by first round TKO. And one note before we move on to the main event, Ryan Bader picked up the loss. He's probably out of crosshairs now where he has lost 2 of his last 4 fights. This one in the semifinals, and then the matchup against Nemkov where he lost the light heavyweight championship right beforehand. So he's going to have to go back to the drawing board. He definitely needs to improve his defense because his chin isn't the same. Whenever he wins, but whenever he loses, it's because he gets knocked out, getting hit in the chin. So he's definitely got to retool a little bit if he wants to try and have any chance of getting that rematch at some point in time. But he's definitely going to have to work back, get some wins under his belt to earn that shot again. But I think he's going to get there, and it'll be fun to watch what he can do when he makes his corrections. But he did make it to the semifinals. He just wasn't the better man. But good luck to Corey Anderson in the finals of the light heavyweight Grand Prix in Bellator. But let's move on to the main event of the evening. We had a light heavyweight matchup of the semifinals of the Grand Prix, and it was also the championship match going 5 rounds. We had Vadim Nemkov, the champion, defeat Julius Anglickas in this matchup by 4th round sub. Gamora. In this matchup, it was a contrast of styles where Nemkov is the Russian wrestler who has a lot of energy. He has really good cardio for most of his fights. He manages his power shots. He goes in for takedowns with a sambo background, whereas Julius Anglickas is a boxer. He has a tall frame. He likes to fight from distance and use that to create angles and connect on shots when his opponents can't get inside of him. And for the first round, it was a pretty entertaining fight because Anglickas was able to keep his his distance, was able to throw shots when he needed to, and he was able to connect on a overhand shot that put Nemkov staggering for a few seconds. But it was just once that happened, Nemkov was able to change his game plan. He went for the takedowns. He was able to get him to the ground several times and was able to get inside the pocket, used his speed to counteract Julius Anglickas' his distance game, and the distance game was basically gone after round one. I gave the first round to Anglickas, but afterwards it was just a lot of rinse and repeat of Vadim Nemkov rushing in, getting Anglickas down to the mat, smothering him, keeping him there, keeping the fight from getting any farther away distance wise. He was able to throw shots at him, wear him out, and then by round 3 and 4, Anglickas looked tired. He looked out of it. He just looked worn out from having to deal with the constant pressure of Nemkov throwing and taking him down and just keeping him on the mat, wearing his energy out up until the point in the fourth round where Nemkov was able to get the Cory lock on him, and then he just tapped and Vadim Nemkov was awarded the victory by fourth round submission. This puts Nemkov in the finals of the light heavyweight Grand Prix against Cory Overtime Anderson. This is going to be a fun fight to watch when they announce when it will be, for the sheer fact that just like with the styles make matchups, this is going to be a wrestler and striker against just a pure boxer, striker, and Anderson. But Anderson does have a good all-around game. It was just known that he's not great at anything. He's just good at every single aspect of the game. Whereas Nemkov is really good at wrestling. He's really good at his submission game, and then he can knock people out. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in that finals. I get the slight edge to the champion Vadim Nemkov because we know that his wrestling is very top notch / sambo. I think in that matchup, Cory Anderson's going to have to try and connect on one of those punches like he did today, keep the distance, and work on his takedown defense. But in this semifinal matchup, to wrap things up, it was a good showing from Anglickas to take this fight on a few weeks' notice as the alternate. He was able to earlier on get his game plan going, but it was short lived, and Nemkov was able to switch his game plan up, control the fight on the ground for the majority of the time, limited the distance, got inside the pocket, and was able to land a lot of shots that way, and then finished the fight by fourth round submission via Cory. But it was a good card on all 4-fight card. Congrats to Nemkov for making another defense. And then keep a lookout for the light heavyweight tournament finals between Vadim Nemkov versus Cory Overtime Anderson. That'll wrap things up for this week's Bellator recap of Bellator 268, which was headlined by Vadim Nemkov versus Julius Anglickas. Check us out at the end of this week as I preview right here Bellator 269, which is headlined by Fedor Emelianenko versus Tim Johnson in Fedor Emelianenko's send-off fight. And he said that after this fight, he's retiring. So what better place to have him fight his last fight than in Moscow, Russia, where he's from. So he's going to be able to hopefully go for a win, but he's going to have a tough task against knockout artist / wrestler Timothy Johnson. So I'm looking forward to that one. So look out towards the end of this week for the preview video from yours truly, D-Bake of Cage My IQ for Bellator 269. But that'll wrap things up. Give a shout out to our sponsor, High Tide Herbal. All you got to do is go to www.hightideherbal.com. Use the promo code CageMyIQ10 right there below and watch as you receive 10% off your next purchase. HighTideHerbal.com is a company owned by athletes and coaches who specialize in speedy recovery. They use CBD oil in all their products, and the goal with this company is to help athletes recover from injury faster. So once again, put the promo code in and watch as you receive 10% off your next purchase. But that'll wrap things up with this video. It was a great weekend for fights in Bellator. We had four great main card fights, and we're looking forward to carrying the momentum to next week. But as always, I'm your host, D-Bake. This was the Bellator 268 recap show by yours truly. And tune in for the rest of our videos, as always, throughout the weeks, so you don't miss any of the content. Please subscribe to the Fighters First Network. Hit the like button on this video. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. And please give us a comment in the comment section and let us know what you thought of the fights and what do you think is going to happen next week. But as always, I'll see you guys next time for the next video on Cage My IQ. Talk to you guys later.